went,
put them through.
oh my goodness, so I got
6
in
to
the
8.
room and I was like poking it in there from inside my
3:30 to
house.
5.
And I'm standing with the door barely cracked, like, in
So
there.
mom used to make
He
2
finally
trips.
ran out.
Well, no, Mom made a trip to Vincent's,
Well, I had
swim.
to,
Georgiana, I made a trip
put it away for a
to
little bit.
the middle school and then Kansas and then here. and
Because the
back
other
again.
one, I don't think he can get.
Nice to have family.
Yeah.
The doors are too small in the other one that I had.
When's that show?
And so,
March
Okay.
so I put it away for a
whatever
little
that,
bit.
whatever that
and
Friday, Saturday is, yeah.
I haven't
Soon.
had that trouble, but I had a
Cool.
possum one time ended up in the one with the small one. But the roof of it comes off, so all I did was like take it and kick it and like the possum went running out. The roof
Johnny-
fell off
Johnny
and it
Weissman
went
did it.
running out.
Never worked out.
No dummies. I know it's nice and warm in those
I was
places.
more of a Little Rascals person myself. Love the Little Rascals.
They were good.
God, they're so, that was such a funny.
One of them just passed away, didn't he? One of the rascals.
Can't be many of them left. Oh my God.
That was like today or yesterday.
Yeah.
That was way back there. Now there were 2 groups.
Yeah, there was a later one, and Spanky was part of the later. Spanky.
And there was a group even later than that.
I call this meeting of the Olney City Council, January 13th, 2025 to order. Please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing as the Reverend Steve Weiner says our opening prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God in heaven, thank you so much for this day. We thank you for our city, its citizens, its leadership. Pray that you'll just be with us tonight, give us wisdom and guidance. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Call the roll.
Councilwoman Ikorst,
Present.
Councilman Iyer,
Present.
Councilwoman Fehrenbacher,
Present.
Councilman McLaughlin, Mayor Lambert.
Here. Is there any public comments or presentations? Any public comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to the presentation of the consent agenda, which includes to approve minutes of the council meeting on December 9th, 2024. Approve and authorize payments of accounts payable December 26th, 2024 and January 14th, 2025. Payment request for Division 1 of the Sanitary Sewer CIPP Lighting Rehabilitation. Payment request for Division 2 of the Sanitary Sewer CIPP Lighting Rehabilitation. Payment request for Main Street Storm Sewer and a raffle license from the Only Eagles, Area number 2549. Any of these items need to be removed from the consent agenda? I would accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a resolution to accept bid for demolition of 502 West Cherry Street. Mr. Barker.
Chestnut.
502 West Chestnut.
Oh, 502 West Chestnut.
Yeah, okay.
It was a
Whoever owns
tree.
502 West Cherry's good.
Okay. The code enforcement officer, Mr. Carwell, took bids, and we opened bids last week on the 9th, and the low bidder was Emmerich Excavating, $5,900. The other bids was considerably more than that one, but I'd like to recommend taking his bid. We will own the property when it's over with.
I already do.
Yep, we own it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Further discussion, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an ordinance to establish stop signs on Sharon Street for Northeast Street and North Silver Street, and on Bonita Lane for North Silver Street. Mr. Barker.
These are stop signs that's gonna be needed for the new subdivision. Mr. Coker is wanting to go ahead and install these, get that past us. Is there anything additional, Tyler, that you? Okay. That will take care of the new subdivision, Doll subdivision.
Motion to approve.
Motion second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Further discussion, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a resolution to amend the 24-25 budget in various departments. Mr. Barker.
And, I'll call on Ms. Gwynn to address that. There's several amendments, and one going back the other way, instead of taking it from a fund, it's put it back in a fund. Jane can explain it a little better than I can, probably.
So on the first one, we had previously moved money out of contingencies into travel and training and the police department to cover the training cost of the 3 new officers we had this year. we did, Jessica and, Chief Bloomer got a thing in the mail where they could apply for some reimbursement, so we did get $14,800 back from the state there. So this is just reporting that as income and putting some of that money back into contingencies. The last two there are for radios for the fire department. Those are spending just a little bit more than what was in the budget, so we're increasing the expense there, but that difference is going to be made up from, the Firefighters Association, so it won't actually cost us anything.
Questions, comments?
Motion to approve.
Motion
Second.
to approve, second. All those in favor, aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, discussion and possible action to create an ordinance to address low-speed electric and gas-powered bicycles. Mr. Bloomer, Chief Bloomer.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, there has been some issues with motorized bikes, electric bikes in our community. I don't want to read at you because it's my understanding you guys have what we figured out. But just in summary, the city can enforce an ordinance on anything basically on their streets. Reading over the statutes, we can make an ordinance regulating some of these low-speed electronic bicycles, gas-powered bicycles. The goal and the intention is not to prevent this from being in our community, because there are some that purchase their bicycles through Pacific Cycle. They're outfitted appropriately. There are no issues. Generally, those are the ones that are following the rules of the road. Stopping at stop signs, have lights on front, reflector or light on back, things like that. What we're after is, better enforcement from my guys, which we are out and writing lots of warning tickets at this time, trying to regulate, things like that. The ongoing problem that has been is there's some of these people that will buy a bicycle from Pacific Cycle or elsewhere, they'll outfit it with a motor, and the bike is not outfitted for that. So basically, you gotta have the bike, brakes that are functional and would stop something going, 20 miles an hour. Well, you throw a motor on a bicycle, regular street bike, it's not gonna be able to stop it. So what this ordinance would allow is for us to go ahead and inspect the bikes to make sure that they're, street worthy, road worthy, also kind of give a review of the rules of the road. That way they have an understanding of where they can ride, that they are in fact, deemed by statute that they gotta follow, basically the stop signs, stop lights, things like that. There's different things that we need to look at if you guys do decide to implement an ordinance. That would be registration, if there's gonna be a fee or not, inspections, things like that. Some of the tools that we could use on this is if somebody's arrested for the same offense 2 different times, as in it's not getting through to them. They run a stop sign one time, they give a citation, it's prosecuted. They run a stop sign again, it's prosecuted, then we can inbound the bike. We recently had a fatality. I'm not saying, I'm not gonna bring that up in that situation. However, something this serious, I believe we should, take some sort of action. Like I said, we've started taking a lot better enforcement action. State's attorney's on board with this as far as, if we do issue citations, they will prosecute. Not saying that wouldn't have happened in the past, however, kind of one of those, it's just a bicycle, it's not a big deal. Well, now it's gotten to be a big deal, in our community with this. So, again, I don't wanna make it so restrictive, and Bart's made this comment too, we don't make it so restrictive that somebody can't, do their job, or even if they do lose their license. We wanna make sure that everybody's comfortable with this and, what they wanna do moving forward, so.
Questions, comments?
Well, I am in agreement, Chief, that we need something in place to help with enforcement. there are some reckless cyclists in the community, no question. A couple of within almost earshot of here, and I've watched them violate traffic laws many, many times. So, and I'm just, I have eyes on a local area, so I'm not sure what else is going on further out, but I'm sure it's there as well throughout the community. I like the Mount Carmel ordinance. I think it would be applicable to our town. I would make 2 adjustments, however. They suggest that a limit of 1 horsepower be imposed on the machine, which is difficult to ascertain. However, in the past, it's always been less than 50 cc's, because most every motorcycle 2-stroke engine I've ever seen has the cc's right on the cylinder head or the cylinder of or the case. It's there, so if an officer was questioning it, it's generally very easy to identify. A lot of engines that are made and used in third world countries, they'll get taxed. So that's where the 50 cc or less than 50 cc's, excuse me, less than 50 cc's used in third worlds. That's why they can say, no, officer, see, I don't need tax, I don't need plates because of that 49 cc. So saying 1 horsepower, that's the first time I've ever seen suggesting that they'd be limited to a horsepower limit, because you can't tell from the outside. You can certainly see the size of the motor now. Normally a small engine like that is more than 1 horsepower too. But that would be a suggestion, and the limit of Mount Carmel has no riding between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. I don't see a need for restriction on that. Perhaps their idea was that they were too noisy or too loud, but if that situation came up, because it's, we know from noise ordinance or their lack thereof, that it's at the discretion of the officer. And if somebody says, hey, I got somebody cruising by my house every night at 2 a.m. that's loud, they could be probably detained or at least questioned and say, hey, can you put a muffler on this thing? So I like the Mount Carmel, save these 2 adjustments.
The only thing, I was gonna,
Go ahead.
you sure? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I thought that the $50 was a little steep.
That's exactly
The
what I was gonna say. The
registration
only thing I
is-
don't like about the Mount
because-
Carmel is,
Well, the golf carts is $40, right? So
and I'm trying to say this in a
25.
politically correct way.
I
less
said
than golf
20.
cart.
Yeah, I said 20, but I mean, that was just a suggestion.
But I don't know if a lot of the people that, how can I say this without, you know,
They're the lower socioeconomic
some,
status.
yes,
female.
I think some of the ones that we're having the problems with, or you're having problems with, and I know one cut right in front of me running a stop sign yesterday, I was really mad because the road was icy. You know, $50 might be a deterrent for them to actually come up and get it registered, which I think would defeat the purpose. You know, so,
Unless they were found on the roadway without license twice, then their bicycle would be impounded.
so, I just think we wanna make that a reasonable fee where,
Yeah, well, and that's what I've seen it way up and down. I think some of them made the fee so ridiculous just for the fact of not wanting it in their community. Because again, having, issues. I agree, it shouldn't be so, cost prohibitive that it's gonna affect somebody that's trying out make a living, regardless of, kinda like, in here, I'd seen some things about driver's license status and things like that. It just shows the respect for the rules of the road. However, if somebody is suspended, we don't wanna take away their livelihood either. Yeah, they can pedal without the engine, I get it, but at the same time, it's not anything that we wanna do that's gonna affect somebody's livelihood. We just wanna make sure everybody's safe, in the community, and that it's gonna be kinda self-sufficient, as in, I don't know what the cost of the tags are gonna be, to outfit the bikes with this, so, we wanna make sure it's not gonna be a burden on the city by, spending the money on that, even though it might be, not very much, but at the same time, we don't wanna make it so prohibitive.
Golf carts
So
are
we
40,
all-
20, I think 20 would be reasonable.
So are we all in agreement, $20, 50 cc's and no time limit?
Yeah, I have one more thing, though. What about age, and do they have to have a valid driver's license? Those are the 2 other things.
Per statute, it's 16.
16.
And I'm comfortable with that because of that, the speeds these are capable of, they should be following the rules of the road. And that would be
And then
met
with
by them
statute-
having a driver's license.
Apologize. And then with statute, you don't have to have a driver's license, it's whatever you guys as the council decide if you want or not.
There might be be some teenagers using it as transportation to get to work too. You can get a work permit at 15, so. You wanna lower the age?
We can't by statute.
No,
Can't buy stuff.
I'm
Well, there
okay
we go.
with 16, but
Okay,
the
there we go.
question is, do they have to have a valid driver's
I
license or
don't, I don't
not?
think so, cause I think that defeats the purpose on some of them that are probably riding these bikes to work, cause they don't have a driver's
Correct.
license to drive their car. So,
We're not trying to make it a hardship.
we're not trying to make it hard on them, we're just trying to make it where they
But 16,
follow the rules.
16 or older
16, you don't have to have a driver's license.
and no driver's license, not necessary.
And the one other thing was if if the bike is impounded, the fee for getting it, releasing the bike,
It's $150.
I think that's steep.
Pretty good.
That's just what I told you guys again, and they have to go ahead and settle up with the courts as well for whatever their fines are with that as well. And again, it's, a lot of it would be officer discretion, meaning if it's, you know, I mean, they'd have to make the same offense twice in 12 months.
If the
I've
vehicle's
seen them make
impounded,
it-
what's the cost to get your
Twice
In
vehicle?
one
an
day,
hour.
yes, in one.
Like 150,
Oh, so it probably shouldn't be that much.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? Should be
50?
something, it should sting a little if they're breaking the law.
50?
50 or
50.
100.
50.
50, are we good with that? Can we get this rewritten in order to reflect the changes that the council wishes and come back next time?
Yes.
Everybody good?
And if they would register here at City Hall at the window, I assume, or with the police?
Well, we'd
department?
have to go ahead and inspect them.
Would
That's
you
the
be
main-
able to provide them with the rules of the road at that time, even if they don't have a license and they're, you know, this is what you don't have a driver's license, but here's what you're expected to follow.
So, and what I've done is highlighted a lot of the issues, you know, on the statutes for that. That way, anybody that come over there, you know, some of these communities have just a checklist, much like our golf carts and SUVs. So we wanna make sure we have the equipment checklist. I believe Mount Carmel is already attached to that. But also a conversation of where they should be riding on the road, not in the middle turn lane, the farthest to the right.
On the
You know,
sidewalks.
things like that. So again, they're gonna be briefed, you know, by our officers on the rules of the road, safety. Yes, you have to stop for stop signs, things like that. A lot of them, I think, they just don't think they have to adhere to that because I'm just on a bicycle.
Yeah.
So,
What did you say the annual registration fee was?
$20.
$20.
$50 to get it out of impound and less than 50 cc's. That puts it at 49.
I was just
or
gonna say, I mean,
less.
I'm not familiar with how they let, should it be less than 51 cc's?
No, less than 50, because that's, in the industry, a 49 cc motor is really common.
That's the standard,
That's the
okay.
standard,
Okay.
less than 50, so it's a 49 cc.
Got it.
Questions, comments? Thank you very much, Chief. Next item on the agenda is report from elected and appointed officials, status report, Mr. Parker.
I don't have anything additional.
Any questions, comments for the city manager? RCDC report? Nothing there. Chamber of Commerce report?
Friends of the Chocolate Tour is coming up February 7th. Tickets are on sale at the Chamber right now. And then the Chamber will be having their event in March. Dolly does a bingo.
Very good.
Maybe she'll come.
That would be fun.
It would. Nothing for tourism,
Very good.
sorry.
Anything else? Anything further before we? I would accept a motion to enter into closed session to discuss the sale or lease price of real property, acquisition of real property, and the appointment, employment, compensation, and performance of specific employees. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?